Well, hello there, everyone. You've tuned in uxwbill. You could be forgiven if you think I was about to tell you a ghost story or something, but no. I'm actually on my way to a service call right now. Last week, a little old lady that I've done a lot of computer work for over the years, I've known her for 21 years now, called me up and told me that her refrigerator quit. And we'll get more into the details of what happened there in just a moment, thanks to the magic of video editing. But I'm just about to pull up in front of her house and get started on this repair, and I thought that I would take all of you along for the ride. So let's see what's waiting inside after I tell you a little bit more about what went wrong. The way this story was told to me, this woman's husband woke up at 2 o'clock in the morning to take a pill, and shortly after doing so, he smelled something burning in the house. He alerted his wife to the problem, and even though they didn't find any smoke anywhere, they thought that their furnace was malfunctioning. Now, it turns out that, although I wish they would have called me, maybe not at 2 o'clock in the morning, because I am employed full-time once again, although this was a weekend, I certainly could have come over there and taken a look. They live next door to a furnace technician who works for a big-name company around here, and ultimately, I'm not trying to speak ill of anybody in this business. He told him one thing about what it had cost, and it turned out to be another, by an order of magnitude or more. Kind of took advantage of him, and I felt bad for him in that regard. But they looked around, he checked the furnace out, couldn't find a problem, and then I'm told that she pulled the refrigerator out from the wall and said, "Oh boy, it really stinks back here," and oh yes it did, because this starting module on the compressor, a solid state module, as you can see, it felt all the burn. Now, there is a capacitor associated with this that actually plugs into the back, and if you believe a multimeter test, it still indicates that it's good. But this is nothing like a test that's made under the full working voltage and current that would normally be passing through that capacitor. So I don't trust these 100%, but if you look carefully at this, you can also see that there was a considerable amount of soot and damage left behind. So even though this still seemed pretty close to its rated value of 15 microfarads, well, guess what? The new kit came with a new one, and so that's what's going in. So let's go take a look at that process. Okay, so here's the new kit. It's been about a week since this happened, and you can still smell the burn. Let me give you a new starting device, mechanical in nature as opposed to the electronic one. Starting capacitor. And some wiring.
You need me, just yell.
I'll let you know.
Okay.
So we'll start putting this together. I made a megometer test of this compressor as well as a conventional ohmmeter, and it tested good, so I think there's a good chance it'll recover from this unfortunate incident. But now I've got to go ahead and prepare my wiring connections here. Unfortunately, they didn't color code these, and it is at least somewhat important that the neutral connection be in the right place. So I might have to do a little bit of sleuthing with the meter to go out and get it. I didn't think to bring it in here, which is a terrible thing to admit to unless I've put it back in my toolbox and forgotten about it. You help me repair a fridge, are you? Quite frankly, this is the best tool ever invented. Strips wires perfectly every time. We'll never go back to those old-fashioned things. Alright, so I told a little bit of a story. There is actually some utility that this old thing still has. I have a far nicer automated wire crimper, but I can't actually find it. That's about typical, par for the course. So we'll haul this old thing out. It'll get the job done. I've got everything hooked up over here. Capacitor, the overload and starter, and we're basically ready to start putting things back together and see if this thing lives again. It's about a 20-year-old Kenmore. I thought it was manufactured by General Electric at first for some reason, but actually appears to be a rebadged Frigidaire. Now, we'll definitely do the right thing and put the service information back for the next guy or gal or whoever it might be that ends up working on this thing. we're just about ready to plug it in and see the moment of truth. And go over it once more, make sure everything's hooked up securely. These look good. Capacitor's in place. We should be ready to go. Then I can take mine home again. I wouldn't loan a fridge to just anybody, but otherwise she was going to lose all her food, and I did not want that to happen.
Brandy, get back. Brandy.
There we go. My permanent marker was dried out, but that ought to do. So let's get this one out of the way. Plug the other one in. Hopefully we don't get to learn about what circuit breakers are for tonight.
Ah.
Here we go. Oh, wrong way around. Okay,
Right
started.
Yep.
Well, we'll let it go for a couple minutes and
See what happens.
see if it cools down the way it's supposed to.
We cleaned that, or she cleaned that out. We put baking soda in it and everything, and it still got a heck of a smell. Is there anything you can get rid of that?
Not that I really know of.
Just go ahead and put the food back in, and
Once it cools down, it'll smell better.
it changes, doesn't it? I don't know.
Oh yeah, I'm starting to pick that up now. Oh, you had some fruit in there and stuff. That might have gone bad.
No, he just put that
We
in
just
there.
put that in there
Oh, okay.
every time.
Once it cools down, it'll get to smelling better.
Okay.
I noticed that, you know, when they're running, it shouldn't be so bad, but as soon as you shut them off. Let's see, what do you want to do? Have a little more.
No, I should be all right.
Good old gorilla, boy. Yeah, it is. Don't worry about it. I'll get it.
As far as I'm concerned, the simpler the better.
Oh, what do you have?